Hi, Jerome from Trailblazing Wine and TWTV, giving you hints and tips to get the most enjoyment out of your wines. So today we're going to talk about, in a way, getting into the nuts and bolts of wine, and really what I'd like to leave with you at the end of this video is that not all wines are the same. And I don't know, it's been, as I can see in the trade, it's been fashionable to really dumb wine down and basically to say that, you know, there's no such thing as a good wine or a bad wine. All wine is the same, and that everyone knows wine and no one needs to learn about it because it's all just grape juice. Well, there is a big difference in wine, and I think really what I want to emphasize, the main difference is wines that the winemaker wants to make and the wines that the winemaker is forced to make. Now, in the UK specifically, there are very heavy taxes on wine. So duty is over £2 a bottle, which you may or may not be aware of, and then you've got VAT on top of that. So by the time you've shipped the wine and put importers and retailers margins on it, of your sort of £6 bottle of wine, only about 50 pence of that is wine. And obviously if the winemaker has to make wine to hit a 50 pence price point with bottle label and everything else, they're really making a wine to a spreadsheet rather than making a wine they enjoy. So really, in order to get the most out of your wine, it's worth spending a little bit more money, because the duty of over £2 is fixed. It doesn't, whether it's a £20 bottle of wine or a £15 bottle of wine or a £10 bottle of wine. So there's no difference in that cost. So in a way, there is an optimum amount to spend on wine where the duty is less of a proportion of the wine, where the wine is actually, you're getting more wine than the actual cost of your duty. So we like to work with wine growers that basically make the best wines they can, and really, if you look at sort of factory farming and mass production, there is a place for that, and that's fine. I mean, supermarkets have done a really good job of introducing us to wines, but the volume of wines they produce have to be consistent, because people get upset if the wines are not the same from year to year. But the real enjoyment in wine comes in that variety, but basically where climate makes a difference to the flavour, where the winemaker makes a difference to the flavour, where the region makes a difference. And you can only really get that in small batches, and really the joy of wine is in its diversity, and there really is. There's nothing more diverse in the drinks sector than wine, and you know, we can see that craft beer has really come on very well, and also the variety in gins. But if you really want a variety in flavour, then a really good place to start is wine. And working with small growers and exploring their wines will really help you understand that diversity, which you just don't get with the kind of what I would almost call the Coca-Cola of wines, which is the mass market. Now, the way we operate in the UK is quite different to a lot of other companies, in that we believe that the wine growers themselves are the best holders of their stock. They know how to look after their stock, and we work with growers that really care about their land. So they tend not to use, well, none of them use pesticides and herbicides in their vineyards, but they go further than that. In the winery, they don't add chemicals as much as other people, and there's a whole book, a thick book of additives you can add to wine to sort of manipulate the flavour. But our winemakers want the wines to really speak from where they come from, and so the skill of our winemakers is that they know when not to do something rather than when to do it. And even some of our wines don't have any chemicals or added at all, particularly sulphur. Some of them are completely natural. And we work with the wine growers directly, so we operate a marketplace for these wine growers and don't store their wine in the UK. The wine is stored at the vineyard. So when you order wine from us, the wine comes straight from the grower to you, and this means that we can hold a really diverse portfolio of wines and introduce you to wines that have never been available in the UK. So really what I wanted to give across in this video is to help understand really, or appreciate, that there's so much more to wine than just the kind of half-price offers that you see scattered around the supermarkets that are really just alcoholic grape juice. What we're really celebrating, and where really the enjoyment of wine comes in, is with the diversity of wines. So I hope that gives you a flavour of really the difference between what I would call factory wine and real wines, and we really are very much on the side of real wines, and we're wanting to celebrate those growers and make sure they thrive into the future and don't get taken over by the increasing tide of factory wines.